Okay, so uh, let's unpack this. It's a really extraordinary set of claims we're looking at today. The source material we're diving into, it presents allegations that, well, they'll certainly make you pause, specifically about the parentage of Malia and Sasha Obama.
Hmm.
This source, it puts forward a pretty surprising idea right from the get-go, that their real parents aren't Barack and Michelle Obama,
Right.
but instead, close family friends, Anita Blanchard and Martin Nesbitt. That's quite a claim. So let's get into how they actually, build this narrative.
Exactly. And our job here, just to be clear for everyone listening, is really to lay out the arguments and the evidence, quote unquote, that this specific source presents.
Right.
This material, it weaves together things like visual observations, personal details, broader assertions. And our goal is just to help you understand what is being claimed and maybe more importantly, how this source constructs its very particular story.
Crucial point here, though.
Yeah. Absolutely crucial. We're just relaying the information from this source. We're definitely not endorsing any of the viewpoints in it.
Okay, got it. So where does the source begin? It introduces Anita Blanchard and her husband, Martin Nesbitt,
Correct.
and it identifies them as close family friends of the Obamas through Michelle Obama's brother, Craig Robinson. That connection seems key.
It really does. And what's interesting is how the source uses that right away, establishing these supposedly close ties before getting to the more provocative claims.
Okay.
So Martin Nesbitt, for instance, the source notes he's the chairman of the Obama Foundation. Then it provides images, pictures of him with people like Rahm Emanuel, Valerie Jarrett, Obama himself.
So showing proximity to power.
Exactly. And it goes further. There are pictures shown of Martin Nesbitt on Air Force One with Michelle Obama, even traveling with the Obamas to Hawaii on vacation.
Wow.
Yeah. And the source points out specifics in those visuals, like Obama in a yellow shirt, Martin Nesbitt, Anita Blanchard in a polka dot dress on that Hawaii trip. The source really wants you to see them as deeply connected, long-time, close family friends.
Okay, so they establish these alleged close personal ties. Then what? Where does the source go next?
Well, then it shifts pretty dramatically to what it presents as undeniable visual evidence, visual similarities.
Ah, the resemblance claims.
Exactly. The source states it very directly. Martin Nesbitt looks exactly like Malia Obama. They look very similar.
Okay, that's blunt.
And it doesn't stop there. It says his wife, Anita Blanchard, is even closer to Sasha. Anita Blanchard looks like Sasha Obama, looks like the other Obama daughter.
So they're using purely visual comparison here.
Yes, and this is, kind of a classic technique in these sorts of speculative narratives, taking something subjective like facial resemblance and presenting it as hard evidence.
Right, okay, so visual links established according to the source. What's the next piece?
So after setting up these supposed visual connections, the source turns to what it frames as a really foundational revelation about the daughter's births.
Okay.
The material claims that when bloggers went digging for baby photos of the Obama daughters, they had trouble finding anything.
Implying scarcity equals suspicion.
Precisely. And then one photo that was apparently found gets scrutinized really closely. The source describes it, saying, blue areas are sloppy Photoshop work.
Sloppy Photoshop.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it was like a cut and paste job. It's really sloppy. That's the quote.
So questioning the authenticity of even the few photos available?
Right. It's a classic example of trying to create doubt about official records by highlighting perceived flaws rather than, offering verifiable proof of manipulation.
Okay, that's a bold claim about a photo. So the source finds what it sees as anomalies and says, aha, evidence.
Pretty much.
But then it makes what it presents as the really big reveal about the actual delivery, right?
Yes. This is positioned as very significant. The source states that Dr. Anita Blanchard, the wife of Marty Nesbitt, delivered the Obama daughters at University of Chicago Medical Center.
The same Anita Blanchard.
The very same one who, according to the source, resembles Sasha, and her husband allegedly resembles Malia.
Wow.
And the source emphasizes this. Both daughters were both Obama daughters, delivered by their parents' friend, Dr. Anita Blanchard.
So the woman who supposedly looks like one daughter, whose husband looks like the other, is also the delivery doctor. That's presented as a direct circumstantial link.
Absolutely. That direct connection becomes like the linchpin for the core hypothesis the source builds next.
Which is?
Well, from there, it poses its central leading question. Could the Nesbitts be lending their daughters out to the Obamas for photo ops, and they pretend to be the Obama daughters?
Lending their daughters out.
That's the question posed. And then the source immediately offers its reason, its justification for why such a, well, complex deception might be necessary.
And the reason given is?
It states, why? Because the Obama daughters, 2 men can't have a baby.
Okay, now we're into really inflammatory territory.
Well, extremely. This is where the claims take that sharp turn.
So to back up this 2 men idea, what does the source point to?
It points to Michelle Obama's appearance, saying, Michelle Obama, she looks like she could bench press Obama with one hand.
Just based on appearance.
Yes. And then it makes that highly derogatory claim stating explicitly Michelle Obama is a tranny, and it attributes this view to a quote from Joan Rivers.
Wow, okay.
And the source then wraps that specific point up by repeating, these are 2 men. They can't have daughters of their own.
That's quite the assertion. Does it offer anything else for that specific claim?
It does try to bolster it. The source includes a specific audio clip, one where Obama refers to Michelle as Michael. It presents this as more evidence.
The Michael clip. I think I've heard about this.
Probably. The clip has Obama saying, most of all, Admiral Mullen, Deborah, Michael, and I also want to acknowledge your son, Jack, who's deployed today.
And the source interprets Michael literally.
Yes. It leans heavily on potential auditory mishearing or, cherry picking, isolating that single word from a longer address to suggest it was some kind of deliberate slip up. It's a common tactic, trying to prove hidden truths that way.
Right, taking something ambiguous and presenting it as definitive. Okay, what else is used to build this overall picture?
Well, building on that, the source then tries to cast doubt on Michelle Obama's own memory, specifically about her wedding.
How so?
It highlights a clip where she's asked, how long have you been with Barack Obama? And her response is presented as evidence of something.
What does she say in the clip?
She says, we've been married 20-some years. Somebody, you guys know the date. When was it? It's been over a decade. It's been a while.
Okay, it sounds like someone momentarily blanking on an exact date under pressure, maybe?
Perhaps. But the source presents this as her narrowing down her own wedding year to a 20-year window. The implication being she doesn't have intimate knowledge of her own life details.
Suggesting deception or distance from the facts.
Exactly. And then, almost as an aside, but stated very definitively, the source also asserts that Obama's Hawaii birth certificate is totally forged. Throws that in.
Another major claim just dropped in there.
Yep. And as the narrative kind of winds towards its conclusion, the source circles back to the relationship between Obama and Marty Nesbitt.
Asking how they knew each other.
Yeah, asking how they know each other going all the way back. And then it raises this possibility. It asks if they be connected through the gay bathhouse in Chicago, man's country.
Wow. Okay. That's quite a leap and a specific reference.
It is. It's a somewhat obscure and frankly potentially loaded reference used by the source to imply, hidden or illicit connections, further questioning the nature of their relationship.
Adding another layer of insinuation.
And then there's one final visual the source mentions. It brings up a picture or maybe video of Marty Nesbitt crying.
Crying. In what context?
The source doesn't really specify context, just uses the image and speculates. Maybe he knows the truth about this.
Presented as a kind of subtle hint. Emotional evidence suggesting hidden knowledge.
Exactly. A piece of perceived emotion used to imply something deeper.
So we've definitely walked through quite an intricate web here. All these claims presented in the source material, starting with the Nesbitts, supposedly being the biological parents, the physical resemblance arguments, then moving through those really contentious assertions about Michelle Obama's gender, questioning the daughter's origins,
right,
and even throwing in claims about a forged birth certificate and these bathhouse connections, as the source puts it. It's a lot to take in.
It really is. And what's, I think, genuinely fascinating from an analytical standpoint is how the source stitches it all together. You have visual observations, subjective interpretations, audio clips taken out of context, inflammatory claims, personal recollections questioned, all woven together to build this very specific and, yes, quite extraordinary conclusion.
And again, our purpose here was just to lay out that narrative.
Exactly. To impartially convey the specific story and the evidence, using that term loosely as it's presented in this particular source, letting you, the listener, understand its unique construction and the rhetorical strategies being used.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, this whole deep dive,
Yeah,
it really brings up a critical question for all of us, doesn't it?
it does.
How do we as listeners, as consumers of information, how do we evaluate claims like these? Claims that pull together such, well, disparate pieces of evidence to support a theory that's so far outside the mainstream.
Yeah, it really encourages or should encourage a critical eye. Looking at how information is presented, especially when a narrative challenges established facts using such a wide mix of proof points.
From things like visual resemblance, which is so subjective.
Right, all the way to personal recollection, interpreting audio slips, and even, highly offensive speculation.
So what does this all mean then for how we approach information that's presented as proof, particularly when it goes into territory this unconventional and, frankly, this highly charged?
Well, I think it's just a compelling reminder, isn't it, to always consider the source, always look at the connections it chooses to make, and really analyze the narrative it's constructing to try and guide your understanding.